Think big, podcast, Sam Thing, Mindset Marlin, Alex Cadena, Alejandro Alvarez. Talking about what we're talking about. I'm just doing it live. I actually went live and then you didn't even know it. Oh shit, man. Messing up. Wonder why it's freezing up on me. I always use my phone for Wi-Fi. No audio? You can hear me?
last year, I think Airbnb was the only. You're building no ship because
Fudge. You guys hear anything? Let me see. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Anybody? Bueller? Nope. It's not working. Oh, there it is. But can't do the podcast. I was trying to do the podcast at the same time. Nope. You guys hear the audio from the podcast? Laura, can you hear the audio from the podcast? Oh. All right, but you can hear me right now, right? Okay. I don't know what to do. This, think big. Same thing. I thought it was going the whole time.
can step aside and focus on building something greater and bigger over here.
Yeah.
I want everybody to go back and listen to that part 10 times over. 10 times over, and then you got to send a DM to Alex to saying thank you.
Oh, now that video messed up.
Right there is everything a person needs to hear, and I'm being so serious. Re-listen to that until you feel like jazzed up and ready to run through a wall, because he just gave you the best advice that you're ever going to get, and he just gave it to you for free. So, dude, I won't pass back over to Sam, but that was phenomenal. No, he was going off, and I was like, dude, this better be a freaking clip on Instagram right after. This is so good. It's one thing that I want.
Am I frozen?
Charlotte mentioned this. She's curious to know.
Now can you hear it?
He chooses the next business based on how closely aligned it is with the first. And one thing that we didn't really hit on, but it's really important to know, is that Alex actually has complementary businesses. One, he didn't jump ship from one ship to another before it was ready, right? But two, he's not creating businesses that are like, to my knowledge, you're not like doing wholesale real estate and then trying to start a life insurance agency, right? You're doing things that are complementary within an ecosystem built right. They don't detract from one another. In fact, they push. Every single one succeeds. Every single one, they're natural verticals, right? That's such an important freaking thing. And I just want to commend you on that, because I see so many people that's like, okay, well, real estate, and then they want to go and start a credit repair company because some dude on TikTok, and then they go and join PHP. Sorry if anyone works for PHP.
I did.
But it's complementary business models are really important. And the fun fact is, if you only stick with complementary
that's crazy.
Stuff, it's easier.
That's really crazy. Sam just said that. because
ecosystem. You're not
Liz
learning a
does
new industry
PHP,
there.
but I can't get into it.
That's
It's
so
hard.
good, dude. That is so freaking good. Yeah. Scaling.
It's hard to do. Yeah, I understand infinite banking in that. That's what Elizabeth Songkwan, she's PhD. She's got me signed up with it. Trying to promote it, but it's something different.
Kind of like pushed us towards building a call center because they were like, hey, you're using your call center, your cold callers, because we built it for ourselves first. How can we use yours? We're like, oh, I guess we could hire some and let you use them and train them up. And that's what we did. And we just kind of built upon that. And so some of these things come naturally, like you see opportunity. From the last event, I actually just went to one thing that was like a smart thing I never thought about is he's like, look at your P&L and where you're spending money. And that is where you want to look at potential opportunities to build a business. So if you're spending a lot of money on, you own 50 houses and you lawn care, you got, $5,000 a month on lawn care. Well, why don't you start a lawn care company? And now you're paying yourself. And so he's like, look at your P&L, and that will really tell you where you can possibly have bolt-on businesses.
Dude, Marlon, have you and I not been talking about turning our liabilities into assets in our businesses?
Literally. Like we always say REI, which is like replace expenses as income. Turn your expenses into income.
Boom. Okay, I wanna hit this because we're a little bit over halfway through. And I wanna highlight this. Alex, just so you know, this is how much value you're giving. We're at 575 live viewers right now. We were just at 600. For anyone that's watching, this dude's kind of badass at the things he does. If you guys haven't noticed, if you guys are getting value from Alex,
Hell yeah.
right now. If you are, don't even sub to us. What we want you to do is actually take a second, go over to Alex's Instagram, go over to Alex's YouTube. Bro, you've been putting out, there's people who put out content, and then there's people who put out value, right? Alex is straight up just fire hose of value all the time.
He is all day.
Make sure you follow him on Instagram. Take a screenshot of this and actually make sure
I actually met him.
Friends are missing out on this because honestly, the way this
Mastermind.
we probably
I'm going to the DEALMAKER for it. That's why I just switched my flight from 7 o'clock to 11:47 a.m. so I can make it to the sub 2 meetup Thursday night.
This guy can do whatever the hell he wants and crush whatever he wants.
It's about being in the right rooms.
If you want to go and sell Lamborghinis in the dealership, he crushed that, right? Why self-storage? Why is that the thing that you're focusing on?
Yeah, I like, even when I started, it was kind of like a lesser known, it's not as sexy, but there was a lot of opportunity, a lot of mom and pop owners still in that space. Opportunity for creative financing on those deals. Out of the 9 we purchased, 3 of them have been through creative financing. We got 2 under contract right now with creative financing, and so there's that. It's definitely a very not as management intensive of a business. So it is a business that can be. It's not passive. It's a business. So it's not just real estate. It's actually a business. You have customers.
The audio and the pictures
so you have to do
freezing,
a lot with like revenue management, have an operator, asset manager. So it's definitely a full-fledged business, but it's something that can be systemized with processes and something that you could step away from and not having the tenants and toilets to deal with, which are constantly big expenses.
Sorry.
A lot of turnover. Self-storage has very sticky tenants. When somebody puts all their belongings in a unit, the likelihood of them moving in the future is, or like a rent increase is pretty rare. And so, you have sticky tenants, you have a great opportunity, demand for self-storage is at an all-time high. And so it's just a great business. And when we got in, it's good, and it's still good now, and it continues to grow. And there's more money pouring into the asset class. BlackRock's in it, and Bill Gates is in self-storage, and there's just tons of money still pouring in, and there's still a lot of opportunity out there. And so, we continue to look to find our place in different markets and continue to grow our assets.
Dude, I just had a paradigm shift. Like, And wow. So Marlon, did you? I don't know if you guys are Marlon. I don't know. You guys are smarter than me, so you guys, this is probably not new to me. He said this. You don't have tenants. You have customers. So even in my mind, it's like self-storage. Well, I view that as real estate, right? It's a commercial application of real estate, but it's real estate. You don't have tenants. You have customers. Holy crap! Dude, dang, that's epic. Paradigm shifts from Kazana.
Damn. Dude, seriously, and even what you said, right? It just clicked for me why it's such an interesting asset class. When you said that they, when a person comes in and they put all their stuff inside the storage unit, the reality of that, it's like, think about a person storing all their stuff in the garage or stuff in the basement. Like,
this is why I'm going to that DealMaker. I was talking to somebody earlier about it, saying debating the merits of going to DealMaker. It's the meat.
That never even occurred to me that once you get these people in, for the
I can't get the camera right.
People just, they got a lot of junk
there,
like
that. Meet guys like this. I met Marlon and Sam at the last DealMaker.
That you got these people that are just going to be recurring.
This is why you go, because the knowledge and the person you meet.
I can see why you like this asset.
Life changing. You can meet life changing people.
I did one video on it. It's like gyms. They get you on the auto pay subscription model, and it's like you're paying. It's on auto pay. Set it and forget it. And I've had properties I've bought that had the same owner for 20 years. And the lady came in. She's like, I'm here to move my stuff out. And she's like, I was like one of the first customers. I've been here for 20 years. And she didn't have her key. She hadn't been there in 5 years, but for 5 years, she was paying that payment, $60 a month for 5 years. Like, so that's a good business model. And with technology that's in place, that you can automate a lot of these properties, it's definitely an industry that it's been good to us so far.
Now, Alex, let me ask you this, right? Because you're an investor, you're an intelligent investor, which means no matter what, although it's a great opportunity, you're not just going in there and just buying any storage.
Keeps freezing up.
You're not just like going on LoopNet and it's like, hey, let me just pay whatever market price is. You're going in and you're getting these things at essentially wholesale prices or wholesale terms. So what are you doing to make sure that when you go and you pick up a storage facility that you're actually getting a good deal? Because I've seen people get excited about getting a deal, but then when I look at their deals, they're not really deals. Whereas you have deals that are solid deals where you've got like heavy hitters, you've got like Pace Mortgages of the world who actually invest in your deals, like because your deals are that chunky and that solid. So what are you doing to ensure that you find good deals?
Yeah, man, it's just about negotiating with them and really targeting the seller's why and what's important to them. And so, and then on the other side, you got to see where the add value is. Like where can I fit in here and make the difference in the income and the net operating income. So like the first property we ever bought, it was the seller wanted a 5 cap. So a 5 cap is essentially if you're buying a property all cash, it's a 5% cash on cash return. It's essentially a 5 cap. In this market, I didn't know this market. It's in Sebring, Florida. It was a self-storage deal, and it was our first deal. So I called the broker in the area. I'm like, what would a self-storage property in this area, in this market, trade for? And he said a 7 cap. So in this area, most people want a 7% cash on cash return if they're going to buy something in this area. And so we're paying, or this seller wanted things like 33% more than what we would pay typically. And so for us, it was creating a win-win situation where we're finding out what's important to them, and for them it was price and getting a certain amount down and a certain amount per month, and we were able to structure a deal with them where we saw the add value opportunity. They had a tree company running out of a big warehouse on the property, and we saw that, well, when they move out, we can rent out that unit. They're not getting income from it, but we'll get a $1,750 a month. And then we saw that there was the rents were below market. We saw that we can add in some more buildings. We saw that we can expand the parking. So it's not about the price you're going in at or the cap rate you're going in at. It's about where you can take it to be. And so with commercial real estate, you can force appreciation with add value. And so it's really looking at where the add value is, and then working with the seller on what their needs and their why and their wants are, and creating a win-win situation. And that's typically what we're trying to do is create win-win situations. So it's not just for us, but it's the seller, and then our investors as well.
And I love that because it's a totally transferable skill from what you learned in the wholesale operation. And more importantly, what it is like when I hear that, like this is to me like signs of an intelligent investor, because this is someone that's going in, you're looking at the current as is situation, you're seeing the potential, and the potential isn't relying on a crystal ball. And this is what like I really want to emphasize. You're not relying on, well, you know, it could appreciate in the next 5 years or 3 years. You're actually looking at potential to force the appreciation in it today based off of your ability to structure, your ability to operate, your ability to get the right people and teams in place and do that physical work to get that thing going and jumpstart and turn it into from a good investment to a great investment. And that's huge.
100%. Yeah. We were able to, in the last 2 years as we started, we were able to double the value of 3 properties within 2 years or less. And those are the 3 properties we did sell.
And that's fire on an asset class. Like you can do a single family on a fix and flip, right? But on a large asset class like that, that is insane. One thing that I want to highlight for a lot of people here who may not be familiar, right? And this is like the way that I personally, like if I later down the road, different season, right? Stay focused, different season. When I look at multifamily, right, versus self-storage, one of the reasons why I really gravitate towards self-storage is how do you do the value add? Something you mentioned, right? With multifamily, you've got 100 tenants, and you want to force appreciation and force value add by renovating kitchens, by redoing the flooring. Do you understand how logistically difficult that is to handle? But on a self-storage facility, like the people don't live there, their stuff lives there, but for the most part, I mean, it's like repaving roads, adding maybe carports or RV ports, repainting lines, adding security cameras and just some level of security infrastructure. This is some of the easiest logistically value add there is.
Yeah, that's one of the other benefits of it is like the add value is pretty easy unless you're expanding and developing additional square footage, which can be a process obviously as well. But besides that, there's a lot of add value on these deals, on a lot of these mom and pop properties that they don't have marketing, they don't have a website, they don't have a gate, they have no security cameras, they don't have exterior lights. So like some of that stuff is pretty easy to able to put into a property and just get a better class of tenant and charge more. And so once you can show the customers that like you turn around this property and that they feel safe and secure with their belongings and themselves being at the property, and a lot of these are quick turnarounds, and so you can force that value very quickly. And so that's what we look for is how quickly can we get to our performer number, and it's not something that's 3 to 5 years out. It's literally like year one, where can we push this to?
I have a question on that, Alex, if I can. When you're adding a value to this property right now in this current market, I'm assuming you're acquiring these for creative finance, or are you acquiring this traditionally? Which one are you?
Sorry.
So we've acquired 9 so far. 3 have been with creative financing. Several have been with a local bank credit union, and then we have also purchased with like hard money, like a bridge lender. They call it bridge.
I'm watching it on 3 screens: the phone,
and so that was actually our best deal.
the laptop, and the other
we were
screen.
hitting Florida for 1.65 million. A lot of that value, and renovating units has some retail space also. Got that all leased up and rented, and we doubled the value of that one a little bit more over for 3.85 million in 15 months. So that one's we went in knowing we weren't going to refinance to hold it. We were going to flip it, and so. That was a tremendous add value deal, but you just got to see how
better
you
internet.
take down these assets. That deal was supposed to be a creative finance deal. Then another buyer stepped in with cash offer, and so that's why we pivoted and moved towards using the bridge lender, so that way we can come in cash and close quickly.
Love it. And in this current market, Alex, when you're adding so much value to these assets. With the current rates right now, like what is your exit there? Are you refinancing, getting that big chunk of equity that you built up in the property, or are you just holding it a little bit until rates go back down?
Yeah, so I never bought these to sell. Essentially, like I came in thinking I'm going to build and hold long term, and because I had my wholesale business, we were doing rehabs at the time, and so I had money coming in. I was like, this is long term. I'm going to hold these for a long time. And it wasn't until I was in the right room, hearing different viewpoints, different, thoughts on opportunities and opportunity costs, and seeing that my return on equity, what we were making cash flow wise compared to if we sold these 3 properties, what we can make in our pocket and then redeploy that capital and make on a return. So our return on equity essentially was like 2-3%. With the money that was trapped in equity, if we sold that property, can I make more than 2 or 3% on that money? 100%. Make 10, 20% plus returns. And so it only made sense to sell those assets, take that capital, and then redeploy and make greater returns with that capital than holding on to those assets. Now, if that asset is an A-class asset, or you're close to retirement, or you can't find deals, then maybe hold on to it. But I can find deals. I'm not anywhere near retiring or ever retire, and then I'm there's other opportunity. And so it only made sense to sell those assets, take that capital back, redeploy, go bigger. And after we sold those 3 properties, we bought our biggest property outside of Houston, Texas, and replaced those units with even more square footage and even more units.
Love it. I have this question for you, Alex. It's a little bit different.
So
now you're killing it right now. Congratulations.
They were talking about mindset earlier. It was really great in the beginning.
That is super inspiring. That's something that people
learning so
really
much
feel like they need
about
to listen to continue
being in the right rooms with the right people, and being around the
negative
opportunities.
thoughts that like, oh, maybe I'm just not right for this, or maybe it's just not for me. What is your thought process, Alex, when you're stuck and you feel like everything is against you, when like you just feel stuck and like,
shoot,
this is not going your way.
I gotta go. I got a Zoom meeting in 5 minutes.
Mentally, what is your process to get out of that?
Thanks for watching. I was gonna make some more calls, and I got trapped in the Think Big podcast. It really is think big. You gotta think big. Put yourself in the right room. Like go back and watch the first 20 minutes of this. It was amazing. Freaking amazing. But I gotta go. I got a Calendly appointment with Ariel Logan. Go to my Calendly, Calendly/Larry the Lion. Set up an appointment with me. 30-minute appointment. Love to get to know you, connect with you, see how I can bring value, and see if you can do for help me. But I'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.